That was India Ari. Slow Down. And it's one of my favorite songs because it reminds me that's what I need to do sometimes, right? To slow down, baby, right? Yes. So, welcome again, everyone. I'm Red Willow, and thank you, Eucalyptus, for that wonderful meditation and opening prayer. And thank you again, Red Bamboo, for opening your beautiful home to us. We appreciate you so much. So we are in what I'm calling awesome August. I'm just declaring August awesome because in my world, August has recently become a lot. Getting my girls prepared to go back to school, and they appear to think they have all the time in the world.
It's slowing down, you told them.
Right. They took the slow down like really seriously. So I don't know who else feels that way, that everything is just speeding up, and before you know it, it's here, and you don't feel prepared. And sometimes what comes up for me is anger at all of the things that need my attention, right? And that I have to give my time and energy to. Sometimes anger is there. And so this is what we're talking about today. As Jan shared with us, our theme for the year is open at the top. And I didn't put it up, but everyone knows this is our symbol for Science of Mind. I have earrings. Yes, so the Joe, Science of Mind. And when we say open at the top, this is what we're talking about. This opening here, where spirit descends into our soul. And that created medium creates form. That's what we're talking about when we say open at the top. Okay. So that's our annual theme. Our theme for August, we're following CSL for August, and it is the fear and the furious. So you'll know that's a play on what? The movie, The Fast and the Furious, which I've only seen the first one. I think they're up to
There's like
number
97.
19.
I don't know. There's so many fast and so many furious.
Yeah. And our talk today is anger as a force. Anger as a force. So we spent July doing what? Playing. We played well in July, didn't we? Yes. And we wrapped that up, but not really, y'all. Yesterday at Pine's house with our traditional backyard play date, and we had a good time. We played a new game that Eucalyptus' father created, which was amazing. And I was thinking about it this morning, driving up, the belief and the action. I was like, this is a metaphysical game, right? Because you can have all the belief you want, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen, right? It is worthless, yes. So I have a deeper appreciation, Eucalyptus, for your father's creation of that game. So, play well may seem like, why are we talking about anger when we just finished playing? Well, those things may seem far apart, but they are not. They are not far apart. We practice joy, and this month we're going to explore fear and anger. So, play isn't just about having fun. It's about opening our hearts, right? Yes. So we laughed together. We had a good time. We laid out at the lake. We did all kinds of things in July. And so I like to say that play is a spiritual practice. Yes. That we could regard play as a spiritual practice. And so now August is inviting us into another spiritual practice, to feel well. To feel well. So not by feelings only the emotions that we enjoy. We all enjoy happy and excitement and right. But when we start talking about fear and anger, something shifts for us, right? Sometimes it goes into like the wrong emotions to feel. So we're going to invite ourselves to shift that perspective for August. And if you want to shift back in September, you can. Okay? All right. So today we're going to start with anger because anger is really one of those emotions that is misunderstood. I know growing up as a child, anger was not welcomed. As a child, I could not express my anger. No, right? No, Vivian, right?
Sounds right.
It sounds right.
Yes, we were looking for trouble.
Unless I was looking for trouble. But the adults could express anger. They could express their anger at me, right? But I could not reciprocate. I could not reciprocate. So when I was growing up, through the church and then even coming into New Thought, I will experience spaces where spiritual people would say, you shouldn't get angry. You must not understand the principles if you are angry. And that always disturbed me. I was new in this New Thought space, and I said, that don't seem right to me. But I said, okay, we're gonna see where this is going. But I knew instinctively that I was not supposed to suppress any emotions, including anger. And I love how Ernest Holmes writes about this in the Science of Mind text. He wrote, anger can be turned into love, and the very power that has been destroying can be made to build up. Anger can be turned into love, and the very power that has been destroying can be made to build up. So notice he didn't say anger is wrong, or even better, pretend it's not even there, right? We love that one. Simply think positive. You feel angry? Feel positive. Think positive, right? He's telling us that it can be transformed like any other emotion. And I think it's really important that, especially in our teachings, that we recognize that our emotions carry such depth of information for us. We feel angry because there is a cause for our anger. And I love the practice that Eucalyptus guided us through in our meditation. Was anyone able to bring up a time when you felt angry? Yeah. I think most of us can bring up a time when we felt angry. But then what do we do with that? Do we treat it as information? Or do we go back and suppress it and cause ourselves harm? So, Science of Mind does not invite us to deny our experience. We don't deny our feelings. We welcome them, right? And it invites us to transform it. So healing begins the moment we stop judging our emotions. When I was little, I would judge my emotions. What is wrong with me that I feel such anger? Right? That's never good. That question alone, what is wrong with me, is already creating a separation from the truth of who I truly am. And when that happens for us as children, it carries us forward. It starts that conditioning that there is something wrong with me. That's why I'm not lovable. That's why I'm not worthy. That's why I have to do everything all by myself. That's why I'm not safe. That's all of the things, right? Because we suppress the feeling of anger. And it is a feeling, it is not who we are. The other thing that I love that Ernest Holmes speaks about, there's a new thought, there's a lot of emphasis on the thinking part, right? But Ernest Holmes also has an emphasis on the feeling, right? It's all throughout our text. And he said this: the creative power responds to feeling more quickly than to any other mental attitude. Responds to our feeling more than any other mental attitude, including thinking. So we can change our thinking to change our life, but it takes more than that. It takes more than just thinking to change your life. Like the game, it takes more than believing to change your life. We have to take action. So if a thought is the steering wheel, emotion is the fuel. Emotion gets us going, right? So the question isn't whether we will experience anger. The question is, where will we direct this energy? Where will we direct it? Oftentimes, we direct it at other people, but most of the time, we direct it on ourselves. Consciously or unconsciously, we do that. So I've come to think of anger as our alarm system, right? And our alarm has one job: to get our attention. Alarm goes off, it gets your attention. So we don't install smoke detectors because we enjoy hearing them. I was recently at a friend's, she rented a house at the lake, not far from here, Monroe, New York. And apparently it was an Airbnb, and apparently the smoke detectors are all wired together. So we're cooking in the kitchen, and the well, let me not say we. They were cooking in the kitchen.
That's my girl.
And the smoke detector right outside the kitchen went off. And then in a second, all of the smoke detectors started going off. And this was a very large house: basement, first floor, second floor. Lots of smoke detectors. You should have seen us running around this house trying to turn off all of these smoke detectors, smoke alarms, right? We were paying attention. It got our attention. We stopped what we were doing and we took action, right? So we installed smoke detectors. Why? It's a way to protect ourselves and to alert ourselves when something requires our attention. And we could think about anger working in the same way, right? It sounds like something that we love could be threatened. If a smoke alarm goes off in my house and I see evidence of smoke, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure the people who are in my home are safe, right? It sounds for us that we need to take action. We need to do something. Anger invites the same thing. It's getting our attention. It's ringing an alarm that we need to see something. We need to see the smoke in our lives, right? And sometimes we bring the smoke, and sometimes the smoke comes to us. And so what do, right? The alarm isn't asking us to become the fire.
No.
Right? It's asking us to become aware of it, right? So anger can also be a sacred indicator to become aware of something. It can alert us that we might be out of alignment. It might alert us that someone has crossed a boundary. I know my smoke detector goes off when someone crosses a boundary with me. I am alerted and I need to take action. So the invitation isn't to silence the alarm of anger. We did silence finally all the alarms in the house. And then I was afraid of the fire department was going to show up because, it's all wired together and, but they didn't come. Although I love, okay, I'm sorry.
I think everybody just agreed with right here. It's fine.
The invitation. I could tell you all a story, but I'm not. The invitation is to listen, right? So sometimes our anger points to something within us that still needs healing. And anger could be that triggering point. We get triggered. And oftentimes we think that we're being triggered by the thing that is happening in that moment. But oftentimes it is not the thing that is happening in that moment. Oftentimes it is something in the past that's inviting us to take another look, for us to pay attention. So that thing that alerts us gets our attention, and we could either make a conscious choice to get curious about it, or we could say, oh, well, Amy did this, I feel angry, and now I'm going to be upset with Amy. No, Amy triggered a feeling, this interaction triggered a feeling of anger. Has nothing to do with Amy. Amy served a purpose in this interaction where my alarm went off. But where have I felt this before? This is not the first time I felt this feeling of anger in my life. It's very familiar to me. And so our teachings invite us to go to the cause. If I stayed in this anger with Amy, I'm staying at the place of effect. But if I take the spiritual practice of anger and travel within myself, and sometimes we need support, and we might need a practitioner, we might need a therapist to support us in discovering again the cause. The initial alarm that went off. And for whatever reason, probably because we were children and we didn't know how to navigate, right? But now we are adults and we are spiritually matured, we can navigate when these feelings are triggered, when the alarm goes off. The other thing that I love about anger, besides it pointing to something that still needs healing, is that anger has been the start of amazing movements in this country. Right? Yes, it is. They've been started by people who just refuse to ignore the alarm. And their anger transformed into courage. Their anger transformed into compassion. Their anger transformed into action. And I'm sure immediately there's people who come to mind, right? Who comes to mind, Ms. Vivian?
The woman that refused to get up from her seat.
Rosa Parks. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. Who else comes to mind?
Dr. Martin.
Dr. Martin Luther King. Yes, yes. They could write it, you could write in the chat, Zoom folks. Who comes to mind? Who comes to mind? So another person that came to mind is Gandhi. Right?
Yes.
Yes. He said this about anger. He said, anger is like electricity. It's just as powerful and just as useful, but only if you use it intelligently. If we can channel it, we can transform anger into a power that can move the world. Did Gandhi move the world?
Oh, yes.
Yes, he did. So electricity serves its purpose, right?
Mhm.
It lights up a hospital, let's say, or it could burn down a house, right?
Mhm.
Can't electricity do that?
Mhm.
The electricity isn't the problem. You don't blame the electricity. It's how we direct it. So we get to choose how we direct the energy of anger. And it is an energy. Just like happy is an energy. Just like joy is an energy. Anger is an energy. So Science of Mind reminds us that we always have creative choice. We can think intelligently or unintelligently. And we see what happens when people are thinking unintelligently. I won't ask for any So, love. How do we bring love into this conversation about anger? Love can hold all things. Love holds us. Love is a container. Love is why we're here. So love doesn't disappear when we're angry.
No.
It's right there, holding us, rooting for us, saying, I got you. Let's go there. Let's see what this anger is all about. You're not alone in this. That's what love says to us. If we would listen. Yes?
Mhm.
So love is what anger becomes when we're guided by spiritual awareness. So we have to be aware. We have to be aware that the alarm is going off and something is inviting us to pay attention. So the question isn't how do I get rid of my anger? We don't want to get rid of the anger. We want to transform it. Another question we could ask instead of how do I get rid of my anger is what is my anger trying to teach me? What does it want me to know now? What value is it asking me to become? What loving action is trying to emerge? Even now, I will never, this was like my biggest mother learning experience. And I've shared this before. It was Zola. And we were having this back and forth because she didn't do something I asked her to do. And I was angry. And I'm usually pretty good with not engaging with my children when I'm angry. But it was a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I was angry. And I said something to her. And this little, I don't know, 7-year-old said to me, Mommy, I come to you in peace. You come to me in war. Out of the mouths of babes. That, talk about a alarm. It stopped me in my tracks. So love, and she said that because she loves me. And she knows that I love her. And she's like, this is not an experience that we normally have. Who are you?
Where's the more coming from?
Yes. So we could know that a healthy anger, let's call it a healthy anger. Yes? Because we know what unhealthy anger, productive anger, yes, thank you, is almost always love in disguise. In disguise. A love for justice, for peace, for dignity, for truth, for life, for peace. She just wanted some peace. So as we begin this new series together, I just want to invite us to remember this. We don't become more spiritual by feeling less. We become more spiritual by bringing more consciousness, more compassion, and more wisdom to everything that we feel, including anger. And we know that with anger, there's a whole bunch of other emotions that are right under there. For many, it's shame, it's guilt, right? So anger is just the packaging. But if we start to unpeel it and open it up, we will see that anger is not there by itself. It has company. So this is what it means to feel well, to feel your feelings, even to feel the anger, to be compassionate with yourself and others as you go through the process of transformation, going to the cause. So I'm going to end this. And I think I might end the rest of this month with this. So we play well because joy keeps our heart open. We feel well because every feeling has something to teach us, including anger, including fear. We love well because love is how we transform what we feel. We live well because a transformed life becomes a living demonstration of spirit. And we give well because generosity keeps the good in circulation, and what we give returns multiplied. So that is our love work this month. When those feelings of anger alert us, let's pay attention. Let's slow down. Let's not react. Let's take a moment to take a breath, to pause, and to ask ourselves a question. What is anger? What is this feeling here to teach me, to show me, to love me? Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So let's close this with an affirmative prayer. Let's breathe together. There is one infinite presence expressing itself through every life, and that presence is love. So today we give thanks that every emotion can become an opening to greater wisdom, deeper compassion, and loving action. So we no longer fear what we feel because we know spirit is present in every experience, guiding us towards healing, wholeness, and freedom. Spirit is present in every feeling, not to keep us stuck there, but to transform it into something that heals. So we leave this space today committed to transforming our lives and our world through the power of love. So we play well. We feel well. We love well. We live well, and we give well. And so we release this into the law and the law, knowing that it is already activated and acted upon. And we say together, and so it is. So it is. All right.